roof of Virginia. You can't see all the way to the top of the mountains because of the fog, but coming to you from White Top. Yes, I'm hooked. Yep, a little scenery here. Top of the mountain. That banana truck. There's a valley and there's another part of the Appalachian Mountains across the way. And a truck escape ramp. Let's get on back in a banana truck. Get that set up. All right. You got marked here, garage gate 79, and I'm at the lookout halfway up Iron Mountain. I just come back from White Top community. My granddaughter's mother lives there. My granddaughter was with me for the weekend, and well, it's Sunday evening, about 5 o'clock, and it's time to bring her home. And man, I know that house, man, when I get back, it is going to be dead quiet. That's how it is when I take her back there to her mom's. It's just, oh man, it's about depressing. Well, listen, this little ride-along video here, we're going down Iron Mountain, the last part of it, and here to Jefferson National Forest. I'm about 7 miles from Chilhowee here in Virginia, my hometown. And this is a little ride-along video, and it's about something that I've realized. I've got a gun buying addiction. You know, a lot of people say, well, how can you get hooked on buying guns? Well, it's very easy. You know, there's always something out there I want to try. Something new, something different. Maybe a new shotgun, new rifle, new handgun, new revolver. There's always something out there that I'm curious about. And, you know, when I first started doing this on YouTube, I've been on here about 1.5 years now, and I would look at some of the comments and stuff people left, you know, or listen to some of the videos, and people would say, well, gee, I got to slow down on this gun buying addiction. You know, I'm about out of money. Or my old lady, she's going to get ticked off at me, and I'm going to be sleeping on a couch for about a month, that kind of thing. Well, I'll tell you what, I just kind of laughed. I'm like, okay, these guys are just kind of yanking my chain here. But here 1.5 years later, I get it. To me, you know, the most fun of it, I'd say maybe 40% of it's actually shooting it. The other 60% is the anticipation of getting a new firearm. You know, trying something different. And well, I can understand those people that say that they're hooked on buying them or trading or whatever, because when I started doing this in 2012, I think from July to December, I went through about 14 handguns alone. Didn't have no shotguns. Just had the one old J.C. Higgins rifle my granddaddy had. But God, I started out with the P95 Ruger 9mm. Went and got the TAR 605 Poly Protector. Had the Smith & Wesson Model 10-7 38 revolver. Glock 19, Phoenix Arms. What else was there? TARS PT-111, TARS PT-145. Yeah, I went through some stuff, you know, but hey, every time I'd get one, I enjoyed it. And what was so fun about it, before you got it, was that anticipation. Now, I make fairly good for a living, you know. I can afford to go out and buy a firearm. But sometimes I'll put one on layaway for the heck of it, you know. Let me give you a little analogy of why I do that. For the older crowd on here, say maybe 35 and up, remember a few years back before they had this electronic filing of your taxes, before you could do it at home on your own computer? Didn't matter who you got to do it. If you didn't use H&R Block or one of them and get an early return, you had it filled out and then you mailed it in. And then you would wait anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months to get your return back. You'd go out every day to the mailbox, or you'd go to the post office and check your P.O. box. And you're like, oh God, I hope it's in. I hope it's in. You get there, it's not in. And you're like, daggone it, well, there's always tomorrow. And you get excited over and over for days and weeks at a time. And then that big day comes, you finally get it. Well, when you get it, you cash it or you deposit it. And if you owe bills, you write out those checks, send out those bills, you know, pay them off. And then a day or two later, you're down in the dumps and all depressed because you're broke again. Well, that's not, you know, the most of it. The reason you're feeling down in the dumps mostly is because that anticipation's gone. And you're going to have to wait till next year. Well, for me, putting a gun on layaway, that's the same thing to me. You know, I'll put half down on one, and I'll go in, you know, the first of the next month and go ahead and get it off layaway. And man, it feels really great. But that time before you pick it up, you're like every day saying, gee whiz, you know, this is going to be awesome. You know, I hope this thing, you know, shoots as good as people say it does. You spend time watching the YouTube videos about the firearm you got on layaway, you know, that kind of thing. And then you're just wanting to find out for yourself. And that big day comes, you get it off layaway, you get you 100 rounds or so of ammo, you go out and find out for yourself how it shoots. And then that evening, you're like, yeah, I did well. Well, later that night, you're like, well, gee, the mystery's over. What's next? Some people can be happy with it and say, okay, I'll just put it in here and lock it up until I need it. That's all well and good. But me, I'm not a collector. I can't stand to let a gun lay around for 2 or 3 months and not use it. Now, usually I'll go out and I'll go shooting, you know. I try to get out at least once a week for about 2 hours. I'm fortunate enough to have my own property where I can do this, you know, pretty much any time I want. Got some great gun laws here in the state of Virginia. But after you shoot a gun so much, you're going to get tired of it. So what do I do then? I start chomping at the bit. I want another one. What in the world do I do? A month or two later, I'll either sell one I've got, and believe me, I am a stickler about selling a gun. So far in the past year and a half, 2 years, I have not sold a gun for less than I paid for it. So, knock on wood, my lucky streak holds out. But anyway, I can understand how people get addicted to it now. Next time I read a comment on YouTube saying, oh gee, I gotta cut down on this gun buying addiction. Man, it's got me broke. You know, I can't afford to do this or that, or I had to sell 1 or 2 guns to get this one. That's something I've never done myself. I've seen on videos where people sell 2 or 3 guns, maybe even 4, to get a firearm they want. And then they'll turn around and go buy it back. Well, you know what? I'm not downing anybody that does that. If that's your thing, then more power to you. I haven't a bit of problem in the world with that. But that's something I've never seen myself doing. A gun buying addiction, yeah, it's got me. It's got me bad. What's the next gun I want? Well, I've narrowed it down to 2 choices. I either want a Henry 22 lever rifle, doesn't have to be the golden boy, or I want a 20 gauge Mossberg, either the pump action or the semi-auto home defense model, tactical model. When I get my sights set on one, I keep going till I get it. Maybe it's being a little compulsive or whatever, but you know, this gun buying addiction thing, yeah, it's real. I get it. I understand it. And I'll be the first to admit that. The hell of it is, if you'd asked me that a year ago, I would have just laughed and said there's no such thing. Now, I'm a believer. Well, listen, this is Mark here, Garage Gate 79. I'm about half a mile from the house. I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Y'all have listened to me blather on long enough, but my main topic of the video, gun buying addiction. I don't know about other people. I don't know about you people that'll actually watch this video, but as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm hooked. I get it. Y'all have a nice evening. I'll catch you later.